Chief Acevedo, that used to be the chief here in Houston, and I think prior to Houston, he was in Austin. He went to Miami, took that job. And it was like he left in like a thief in the night. One day he was here, and then one day he was not here. But he's facing some scrutiny out there in Miami because he's been shaking up some things. And you know where we live today, you can't just walk in there like a bull in a china shop and make all this stuff happen. But apparently, when he was hired, they held him as the Michael Jordan of police chiefs. But Miami folks are not feeling that with him. And now it's surprising because he's from Cuba. Those are his roots. And I know there's a large Cuban population down in Miami. But it's becoming a bit of a dumpster fire, so to speak, when it comes to him being the leader of that department. He's gone in and fired some of the highest ranking people in the department. Some of which were minority and women, and you know those are sensitive areas at this point. Letting out early releases for some inmates out of prison or whatever. It's just been a ball of confusion, so to speak. So if you live in Miami, we're sorry that we passed that problem over to you, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all welcomed them, you took them, you paid them, deal with it. That's your baby to deal with at this point, right?
We all make this. We all make bad decisions in life.
Well, we do, but we picked up Troy Finner, I think his name is our police chief now, and that's who we deal with now. And I think he's a Houston native. Yeah, there we go. That's what we deal with now. And not to say that our stuff is in order altogether, but we are represented.
But do you not think there's a problem with the police as a whole?
Oh,
throughout the whole the policing side of things. I mean, I'm not saying that bad people. I just feel that the whole system and the judicial system. I mean, you brought a good point up the other day. Saying about the judge, they shouldn't be. I mean, I do think that there's what's the reasons for having more people incarcerated?
We are.
That in itself is $1 million industry. I could never understand personally why it's done by private companies. That in itself is a corruption. Possibility.
Well, it can be, and the biggest issue with it is it's a fraternity, and they stick together, and it's kind of that idea of a brotherhood, and when you have that,
videoing has changed that.
It has, but still, we get videos years later at times.
Right.
It's like, so who sat on this long? That we just got this video of this guy that got shot 14 times, and the video finally, it's uncovered. But it's 2 years later. This happened in 2018. Why does it take so long for someone to speak up and say something about it? So
absolutely,
it's unfortunate.
But I mean, the whole system needs to be, from who was talking about evictions earlier on, because we do property management. One area, it's an 8-week wait, and they're doing everything on Zoom. Another area, it's 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
And it's been interesting because some of the people that we have spoke to, they requested help for their rents, but they was 5 months behind before even COVID.
And those people shouldn't qualify.
And that's down to me. That's my fault. So.
We're going back to the incarceration thing. I just want to show this because a lot of people don't understand this. The 13th Amendment of the United States is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or of any place subject to the. So basically, slavery is illegal unless you're in prison. So that's why I think incarceration is so big in the United States, and it's also a for-profit business as well, which
Right.
is
It is.
interesting.
And
Yeah.
that's what my big concern is. I think it should be something that's controlled by on a federal level. Let me ask you a question, Jim. As a black man, why is there more black people incarcerated in the United States?
Why?
Do you think it's a political? Do you think it's a racial tool, or I personally, I could never understand it, and I could never see why that's the case.
I could say that it's a tool, but could I really? I think, unfortunately, what happens, we can, as a people, are economically affected disproportionately when it comes to, let's say, representation, right? So when someone goes into court that can afford an attorney, I go in there, maybe I can't afford an attorney. So I got to be stuck with this public defender who's really, they're there being paid by the city or the county or whoever. They're getting their paycheck. They're not really there to win the case. They really want me to to settle, to plead out. So those are the easiest ones to get through. If I have to get an attorney, that's going to cost me money, and I may not have access to that money. But weeks ago, we talked about the same crime, the lady that was doing the embezzlement or whatever. It's just unbalanced in the justice system, period. When you're dealing with two different people, they don't look alike, but they can be doing the same crime, and just depending on who that judge is, they can be given a totally different punishments for the exact same crime.
So